IVM.
Hey everybody, welcome to another amazing week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you aren't following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Paytm Money, for supporting the network. Guys, you should definitely check out some of the content that we're doing recently, which is somewhat COVID-related. Pawan's been doing an awesome job on the Pragati Podcast. All Thing Policy has also got a tremendous number of really, really great episodes about what's going on and the impact. We talk about this stuff on Cyrus Says, especially in the Cock and Bull episode. On Advertising is Dead, Varun's had a couple of episodes where he's spoken about the impact of this, as is Karthik on the Filter Coffee podcast. And across the network, definitely do check it out. I'm sure you'll enjoy yourself. And with that, let's get you to your show.
All right, we're back in... I've lost count of how many episodes we've done under the lockdown. I think this is the fifth, fourth, something like that.
I think this is the fourth, yeah. This is the fourth happening over a recording. I've lost count of everything.
Yeah.
Like now...
It sort of seems like, this is the end. We're kind of moving towards the end of it.
Speak for yourself. I think I constantly keep telling myself that, oh my God, we are in this for the long haul, at least.
No, I'm saying this sense of static, this sense of, not changing, not moving. I feel like things will start kind of unspooling a little, after these 2 weeks. Little by little, things will start coming back. Obviously, our world will have changed, of course.
I'll tell you what, and this is what I'm saying this today. I had to pick up a few medicines for my cat, and I stepped down, and the government also announced that alcohol shops will be open. And everywhere it was jam-packed. Like you couldn't tell today in Bandra, in Bombay, that there was a lockdown or a quarantine. Everybody was out on the streets. It literally felt like regular Bombay. In fact, can I tell you so much? That I realized how quiet it's been all these days today. Because I suddenly was finding everything so loud. Every car honk, every person, everything. I was just finding it's a little... Which made me overall question if I want to fucking ever continue living in Bombay. This few days of peace and all, this few days of whatever peace, today was a little frantic stepping out because I had to. But yeah.
Yeah, so what these couple of decades that we've been under lockdown, I think what it's given us is a very clear perspective on what we like about our urban life and what we don't. One of the things that kind of terrifies me is exactly what you were saying, that I don't know how many things, I know I miss, the joie de vivre of whatever, the jolt of living in a city and all of that. But the clamor, the noise, the smoke, the pollution, fuck that. I don't know whether I want that back. That's one of that's a couple of things I'm really fucking dreading.
Dude, I'm on a microscopic level, I can feel a change in my skin, the way my hair is. I can literally just feel a huge difference on that level, just not stepping out as much. And I like my skin right now. I just feel like it's so fucking nice, and it always looks like I've just showered. And in fact, it's quite the opposite. I'm one of those people keep asking, hey, you showered or what today? And I'm like, what the fuck? I shower more than anybody else in the world.
I can't imagine not even on the coldest winter day, I have to take a shower.
I am on 3 to 4 showers a day right now. I'm not even kidding. And I don't, other people might be like, oh, that's a bit much. I don't even agree with those people. 3 to 4 is the bare minimum. Because ek to time hai abhi karne ko ye sab. And I also recently got a water pump put in my house. So it's like, I hope nobody in my fucking colony or society listens to this podcast. They will throw me out. But I sneakily got a pump put in my house, and I've been enjoying the best fucking showers. And my favorite shower right now is 3 o'clock in the night. If I've not slept, just before sleeping, I put on either Indian classical or a little old school Asha Bhosle, Kishore Kumar type shit. And I take a shower for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and it is amazing. And then I come out and I douse myself in Dermicool or other prickly heat powders.
You remind me of my mom. She was this, she really was a like a cool fanatic. Like she dermy cool, all these cooling
Right
like
now, my soap is
tabs
menthol.
and
My
stuff.
shampoo is fucking
Oh
cool.
my god.
It's like amazing because I got my AC removed this year, and so I am preparing. And trust me, I put so much Dermicool on my scrotum. Sometimes it feels like
You'll never give
it
birth.
gets so cold. It feels like a little coin purse, like with two little raisins in
That
it.
much menthol in your system, you have killed all your spores. There will be no more Karkaryas, I
I don't
swear.
care. I don't care. I don't care.
Jeez, just if we're talking about almost this second wind that we are all kind of getting.
Yeah.
Why don't we talk about that? Like almost like
yeah.
Second chances. Like
Second
why don't we
chances.
talk about? Do you believe in second?
That was something someone had recommended to me on Instagram. I wish I could say his name, but his Instagram handle is in some weird language, and when I hit translate, it says "Future Doctor." So if Future Doctor is listening,
for the suggestion, whoever this person is,
and Future
Doctor, do you believe in?
He meant it in a how to give men second chances. I feel that's what he was going for, which is actually a great conversation we've never had. Because we forgive, but do we ever forget? And if we forget, do we ever forgive? I don't know.
So what kind of a person are you? Are you like, do you hold on? Do you are you just like, I will never forget what you did? Like, are you that?
How do I say this? If you asked me this a couple of years ago, I was never forgive, never forget. But the old, by couple, I mean, okay, not 2-3 years ago. I'm saying like when I was a teenager and my frontal cortex had not fully developed. I was a teenager and I was young. So I felt like, I'm going to remember this and I'm going to be, I'll somehow avenge this, But now, no ways. I think I'm an extremely forgiving person. I definitely do not forget. But that's because I'm a cautious person, and again, like so many times we both have said this, I put myself first. So I tend to not forget, but I feel I have the wisdom or the maturity now to not let that not forgetting interfere with how my relationship goes. Not relationship, I don't mean lover type relationship, but any relationship where if someone has wronged me, I can forgive. I won't forget, but I won't let that interfere with wherever it is still going, if that makes sense.
Of course,
I'm okay. Like, I get it. Everybody, I fuck up. Yeah, everybody fucking fucks up. So I know it sounds like a little holistic, but honestly, if the person is worth it, I totally don't mind fucking just moving the fuck on,
Yeah.
Which also can be a little unhealthy sometimes, but sure.
Oh God, yeah.
Are you a forget? What are you both?
So I'm very intense when it comes to my emotions. Like I usually and it kind of pisses me off. This part of me pisses me off that I'm either like really I oscillate between absolute gushing over, not gushing, but like I'm very genuine and like I express myself, or I am like super cold. That line between me being pissed off with someone and me just not giving a fuck what happens to that person is like, it's a snap. It's like one twitch. But over the years, I'll come to this like story. I kind of look back at, and this is very, very recent. Over the years, I think I've also grown into someone who's okay letting the unimportant shit go. Like really, in the larger scheme of things, when I look at, this person did this to me, I really judge that from a point of, hey, you're 32 years old. Should that bother you today? If that doesn't bother you today, then don't like hold on to that. Then fuck it. So what happened was a couple of months back, I think 2 months back. So one of my exes, we had not spoken like in a while, we'd like chatted and all of that. And it wasn't the prettiest breakup. Like there were a lot of things I kind of resented, the way things were left and the way things transpired. So as a result of that, I was very cold. Like I kind of tend to get very cold when breakups happen. Like it's like one fell swoop and like everything's cut off. So I was that. And then suddenly, just randomly, this person, he kind of messaged me for no reason. I responded. And then he kind of said, I'm glad you responded because I never thought you would respond, knowing the person that you are. Yeah. And I was like, I've also, and then I took some time to, and I remember I was touring that time. I was in Delhi. And so I got back to my hotel and I said, I'll call you tonight. And we spoke for a good hour, catching up on life. And what I initially, maybe 1 year ago, a couple of years back, I would have thought, what I want to hear is what I want to say is I told you so, or you were right is what I want to hear. But none of that mattered. I just didn't care what happened. I just wanted to know whether he's fine. I wanted to know whether his life has joy, and that's it. That's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to understand and know. Mm-hmm. I feel like I've become a person who I don't want to sound like I'm this optimistic fool, but I'm cautious. It's very rare that I put my guards down, but when I do, now I'm okay. I think I've learned over years to not constantly be on the defense. Like it's okay to let your guards down and let people. Theek hai na, what's the worst that can happen? You'll get a scratch. Like sure, big shit. I think we don't give people second chances because we are insecure about getting hurt because we've once bitten, twice shy. Yeah.
No, in fact, just right before this, I was going to say phone call, which it is in a way. We are recording this on Zoom. But right before this, I was chatting with this boy who last year, I find him absolutely beautiful. He's like one of my sweetest friends. I was like his mother in the sense that he was from an extremely, you won't believe it, how orthodox his family is. They're like solid Muslims. Like again, no shots allowed in the house, no music allowed on the phone. I met him when he was that, and then we started off as fuck buddies, and eventually he stays 4 buildings away from me. He's one of the most beautiful, sweetest, nicest people I've met. So much so that I've never seen even my flatmates and all respond so much to a gay boy in my life. They immediately took to him, and he opened up a bit and everything. And long story short, I developed feelings for him. But for the first time in my life, I did not let that get the best of me, because I'm at a point in my life where I'm trying to move away from this twink, young type situation, even if the boy is sorted in whatever way I need him to be sorted. And secondly, the curveball was that he got a job as a purser, like a flight attendant for private jets in the Middle East. So you can imagine how cute he is. But he got this job and suddenly I knew he was leaving. But all of this, like, he seemed like the backdrop of it because I was proud about how I finally felt that I am mature enough to have invested and felt these things for a person. And now as an adult, this is not going to be reciprocated because he's leaving. Plus he's not my age. He's not on my level of like maturity, whatever. So I was okay with just being okay with that. And that was such a great feeling. You know what I mean? It was such a good feeling knowing that now I'm at a point in life where I don't go, you know what happens, right? The moment you fall for someone, sometimes you totally change tracks and you somehow tend to become a person you're not, and you start becoming something else that you might not be. And, you know, so I just felt like this is a great litmus test in my own authenticity in that sense, that I did not, because usually a lot of times I found myself guilty of being that person who, the moment I fall for someone or I'm in a relationship with someone, I start having this fake epiphany or an idea of what my relationship is and who this person is, when the reality might not be true at all. A lot of this I attribute to my lovely bipolar disorder, because this is the kind of shit it can play. It can play tricks on your mind, you know. But again, just I'm bringing up this specific example because I know. And the funny thing is, right before he's back in India because of the international lockdown and all, so he had to come back to India, and he just messaged me a while ago, and we veered off into this. He was telling me about, I know you would never date me because, you know, you don't think I'm smart enough and I'm not your type and everything. And the thing is, he is all those things. He is all those things to me. But I just know that I'm at a point in life where I will only bare my soul and wear my heart on my sleeve and put my walls down and all those things if I know that I'm not going to get burnt easily, you know. And the ability, again, I just thank age, I guess, or growing up. I thank that side of me, that I'm at a point in life where I can differentiate that, you know. A lot of times, you know, I always say this, but, you know, in Alcoholics Anonymous, one of their main things is, give me the wisdom to know when I'm fucking up. You know what I mean? And I feel once you get that wisdom to know when you are not being yourself or not being authentic or being something you're not supposed to be, you know, everything's in the same bracket in that sense. But like, it is such a great place to be. And that's the thing. Sometimes I feel like, if I said this exact thing, what I just told you to my shrink, he might be like, oh, but that means you're still putting all your guard up and you're still not letting go and all of that. But there are things that, first of all, I want a lot of people to know it is okay to disagree with your shrink. You know, he's not right all the time. And this is one of those things that I know he's not right, that I am okay. Because when it comes to it, I do put my guard down. And okay, since we're talking about second chances, that's when it gets tougher. Because let's say I did put my guard down and I did put my feelings and I did wear my heart on my sleeve, and then the person, let's say he hurt me in some way, he said something he shouldn't have, he cheated on me, whatever it could be, right? In whatever degree. It could be like a simple hurt or a big hurt, you know what I mean? I now have the ability, I don't want to but I just hope that everyone reaches a point in life where they have the ability to assess that, okay, this person is human, they fucked up. Am I willing to forgive them? Or this is a repeated pattern and I need to be the bigger one and step away from this. You know, I feel like second chances, literally, this could be a short episode in that sense, because that's how I feel about them. You only give someone a second chance if you know you have it in you to keep building
stuff. Not 102nd. Yeah, it's a second chance when it's a second chance and not 102nd chance. Like, if you keep giving people chances and they keep making mistakes, then I don't know.
Sure. And you know, I can't believe another thing as an adult you realize is that Oprah was a little stupid. Like, as growing up, we would have thought Oprah is amazing and she makes so much sense, but there's a lot of stupid. But Oprah, I still remember,
kind of sick of these people.
They're in fact problematic. Oprah is definitely problematic. With some of the things. I recently saw an interview of Oprah and if you remember Dennis Rodman.
Oh my God, it was so problematic.
It was so cringy. That interview was so fucking cringy. I couldn't believe it that I used to die. I used to cry and die to watch Oprah every day. And I used to cry like a fucking child for every episode. But what I was trying to say is, one thing that I do believe she said, and it really stuck with me, is people always show you who they really are. And you need to know if a person is, and they tell you sometimes straight up, you know, if a person repeatedly is telling you, hey, I am a cheater, or hey, I am a liar, or hey, I am a, you know, believe them. Don't just think, oh, this person is saying this because they're trying to push me away. Don't read too much into it. A person will always do things that tell you that, hey, okay, my flag is up, my red flag is up, this person is displaying that. It's just that's the part that gets difficult once you're in love, or you have put
you
your faith
feel
in
like
someone.
you feel like he's better than that, like at the end of the day.
Yeah. And then that combined with all of us feeling like we can fix people and we can save people and we can change people, combined with that is just a recipe for disaster more often than not, because you are setting not that doesn't mean that if a person's telling you, oh, they're a liar, you need to dump them right now. That's the point where you need to just take a stock and assess whether you are willing to put in the work, and if that person is worth putting in that work, it really, and it's, I don't know, sometimes I feel like when we have these podcasts, we say these things and I feel like, wow, does this mean like I'm sorted for life? Because this seems like a very clear
Because we have to follow our own advice, right? Like, firstly, like whatever legal advice, I think sometimes we don't, like a lot of times we don't. But I want to ask a question. Would you redate any of your exes?
No, I wouldn't. No,
I'll come to like look at it from a point of not redate the person you were dating, but redate the person
even if they changed and they become someone else. No, I wouldn't, because I'll tell you why. One thing I know about me, and you just said it yourself a while ago, I'm a person who disconnects. If I break up, I am out. I don't know why. It's of immense importance to me. And that's the thing. In 2020, to cut off is almost impossible. In 1999, if you broke up with someone, all you had to do was not pick up your landline anymore. You know what I mean? Today, in today's day and age, where you are linked to them via Snapchat and Instagram and this and Facebook, and you can see their lives and you can see, oh my God, this person's on Grindr now. What the fuck? All of these things can happen to you. It is, so I cut off. I literally, it's not a very, what do I say? You know what I mean? It's not a very difficult situation for me in that sense, because I cut off. And the worst part is, a lot of times I don't go back is because I feel like my now is because things went wrong in the past. Today, if I'm okay and if I've learned something and I've become better at a certain thing, it is only because I failed or things did not go my way. Because again, it's my life is constantly a culmination of multiple things, and you end up at different spots in your life, So I feel those breakups were important, and to go back sometimes I feel is just literally backpedaling and unnecessarily causing confusion. I'm trying to whiz through all my ex-lovers and wondering if I would. There is one person I felt like it would be different now, but he's married, so I can't do jack shit about that. He got married to another boy 2 months ago, and I'm so happy for him. And I did not break his heart, but he was moving. This is another person, not the person I was talking. Just people move away in my life, I guess. But he was going back to the States. So I thought it was easier to break up. He did not want to break up. He wanted to pursue long distance, and I wasn't down for that. And so, where I did not get a closure, maybe, but I just know that I'm someone who always knows what I want in the future, as opposed to what I could have done differently in the past, So in that sense, no, I wouldn't date an ex at all. I see other boys and so many times who do this back and forth. Today we broke up and next month we got back together. Dude, they're miserable. It's really, what do I say even? That's such an unhealthy place to be, Either, again, it's worth the misery. If the misery is worth it, do it, But if it's not, why? Just fucking keep moving forward. And that's the beauty of breakups, So much is there. I don't know. I really find breakups fascinating almost. Because every time I've left a relationship, I have learned so much about myself. Maybe I just see every relationship as a mirror, largely, not just of how I am doing as a person, because relationships do that, right? You suddenly realize so many things about you might know or not know, Some people find out, oh my God, I'm a terrible person in a relationship. Some people find out, oh my God, I'm an abnormally angry person in a relationship. Some people find out they are jealous. Some people find out they are super nice. Some people find out they are doormats. Everybody finds out. You learn so much in a relationship that every time, for me at least, when a relationship ends, I know what to do and what not to do in the future. So yes, I don't know if I'm someone who would, if it comes to love and relationships and being a couple or whatever, I don't see me being a very second chance person at all. But that also comes from a place where I know me. I will only end something if I know I have beaten the life out of it. You know what I mean? If there is no life left in something, I know when to pick up my bags and leave, you know? So that's a big thing. I think a lot of people don't get that kind of closure. It just rambles on and on and on and on. And then next thing you know, you're just like this constantly unhappy person who doesn't know how to be happy. So you continue being unhappy because that's the only thing that makes you feel alive. And you just never reach a point where then second chance becomes, like you said, 10th chance, 50th chance, 100th chance. Then every chance is just a little hit of like some bong or something where you just feel high for a while because, oh, now things will be different, but they never are. And it's always the same predictable end. Wow, what am I even saying? I'm ranting right now.
Yeah, you are.
I'm so
Pretty
sorry.
much.
Do you have a lover or someone who you take back in that sense? Someone I want to know, like,
So here's the thing. When it comes to,
I want to know if someone wrongs you. Like, let's say, and can I give you a scenario? Let's say you are in a relationship, you got cheated on. Would you give that person a second chance?
I've been very fortunate to have been in relationships where I don't think I've been wronged, like, you know, where it's just something that I can never come back from.
Yeah.
However, 20% of my relationships, there have been disagreements in terms of, you know, our vision of who we are and what we want from life. And I don't think that is wronging per se, you know, me per se. 20% of my relationships have also broken up because of circumstances. Also was a situation where we were like, that person was 23 when I was 26. And, you know, we dated till I was 20, 27, 28. And he was so, you know, at that stage, while the age gap is 3 years, that chasm keeps increasing. So I would call it circumstances because that's what it is. I feel like I would give 20% of my relationships, I would be okay with it. It's not like I'm pining for it, or it's not like something I'm looking for. But if like fate puts me in a position where, you know, there were things that didn't work out, if those circumstances and the circumstances happen to be visions and choices and things, asks from life, if those circumstances are different and if they align, why not? Like, sure, why not? But I know what you mean in terms of if someone really wronged me, and this has happened when it comes to friendships. There have been friendships where I have been wronged, and I absolutely do not look back. That is something that I hold sacred. So I feel like,
as in, do not look back, as in that friend is out,
like it's that person's not in my life anymore. And that one of my best friends from school, and we were like really, really thick till we were like 22, 20, like good 7-8 years, like school, as in we were best friends since, I don't know, we were like 10 years of age, and till 22, 23. In fact, right up to the point where I came to Bombay, you know, we were very thick. But then there was things that, you know, I started seeing. There were things he would say. There were things he would, the way he would kind of behave. Those things changed, and I felt incredibly insulted when it came to his outlook, his treatment, all of those things. That I can't forget. That, I mean, if you don't have that basic human respect for me, then I think we've lost it, right? Like, so I do agree with that point, in the sense that when someone shows disrespect, that is unforgivable. There are a lot of things that are fine. There are like, for example, cheating is, I feel like cheating, sure, it's a very controversial issue. For me, you can really get past something like that. But cheating and then lying and then not agreeing to each other's view of, what each other is comfortable with, and continuing to do that, I feel that is toxic. And that is disrespect. The moment there is an inkling of disrespect, I feel like that I can't go back to. That I really, really can't go back to. And that's also, I remember I was almost estranged from my mother because of that. Because there was a conversation, way back when I was 21 or so, where there were things that she said that were so so devoid of like basic human respect that I stopped speaking to her for a good like 7-8 months, because I just felt like I can't. Sure, I'll grow up. When I start earning a little more, when I come to a point where I can provide, I will provide for this woman. But if this person has such little respect for me, that will be it. If her equation with me is providing materially, and that too I had kind of stopped depending on anyone for material help at that point of time. If that is the only thing that keeps us going, then I'll also keep only that going. It kind of boils down to
that
respect.
sounds rough.
Yeah.
And it's not really rough. I'm glad you say it, and I hate that happened to you also. I'm sorry that happened to you with your mom. But again, if you're talking about second chances, it can't be just a lover thing, because actually, now that I think about it, we give our parents so many chances. They fuck up all the time. And, there are still those times where I'm like...
If there is one relationship that actually, historically in my life, one relationship where I really have seen mistakes being made again and again and again, lessons not being learned, despite putting them on a silver platter and telling the respective people, that relationship is my father and my mother.
Yeah.
Really.
See, but that's the thing. I have to say, because here's the deal, right? Me and my mom still, if I have to say on one level, we have an extremely strained relationship. We could go from like being extremely polite and nice to each other to extreme like I never want to see your face again in like 3 seconds. She can. But here's the deal. I feel like, look, with a boyfriend, with a lover, with a friend, you can cut off. With family, it's not easy. You can't just up and about and be like, I'm not a part of your life anymore, and you're not a part. Sure, that happens, I'm sure, but it's definitely more entangled than that when it comes to family. And I felt like, at least in my case, especially with my mom, it reached a point where I forgive and I forgive and I forgive and I forgive and I forgive. And then I realized that this is not a forgiving game at all. This is a giving her the reaction she wants. Can I control that? Because for me, it became like I started, how can I better myself? Because I start seeing it as see, that's the thing, right? Right now, again, I'm talking about two parallel things at one go. With a lover, I'm trying to remember in the past, I did have one boyfriend who couldn't help but constantly cheat, and the lying and all of that. And now in retrospect, I know all my forgiving came because I was selfish. It was my need to forgive him was because I was selfish. I did not want to get hurt. I felt that, he can be better. So it was actually me not coming to terms with reality back then. So I can understand how it was selfish in that sense. But now suddenly when the conversation is about a parent, I can't be like, you know what? You are fucking toxic to me. You are out. I know that is an option. Yeah. But a lot of times it's like a lifelong thing. That person is going to be your mother. You know what I mean? You're not going to get another mother.
Sure. I mean, I totally get that. It's just that I'll give you an example. I haven't spoken to my father in the past 9-10 days because there have been a lot of conversations over the last few days. And that's when I decided to switch off. Where last conversation we were talking about how mental health is kind of flaring up in these times. Okay?
Yeah.
And I took an opportunity to have that conversation with him, saying that I'm not well. And right after that, the conversation was, you know what, you should try harder. And I just took a moment and I told him that this has been one of my biggest problems, because when you ask me how I am, it's like you want there is a set template of an answer you are expecting, and your answer is ready for that, and the answer is I am fine, because you are not prepared for any other answer. And if I'm not fine, God help me, like it is my fault I am not fine, because then you will talk down to me about not being fine. And that I told him that I really am not comfortable, because I tried telling you that you need to be, and I told him that, you're making me so like livid right now. And his first response to that was, stop being angry at me. And that moment I said, you know what? I'm going to cut off for as long as I need to, till I'm not pissed off with you. And I need you to know that I'm pissed off with you all the days that I'm not talking to you. And for me, sure, we can't cut off like 100%, but it's important to take a break from parents. It is so important to take a break from family if you really, if they're affecting you. Because sure, you will give them more than two chances again and again. But it's also really important. When we were kids, if we would do something wrong, we were told off. It is important for us to also tell our family off. It's not like blind respect. I don't believe in that shit, please. So I today, for example, I'm still not okay with him, with talking to him, because it still bothers me that he's so it stems from disrespect for my emotions. The fact that I'm feeling angry when you're triggering me has no space in his like world, in his universe, and that kind of pissed me off. And so for me, like you were saying, I totally understand that we cannot say kal se to like gone. We can't do that. We can't just
kal se kaam pe nahi aayenge.
So it's never
what I was trying to get at is, I feel everything that dogs you and life throws your way, in some way or the other, can be used to better yourself.
Of course,
Of course, sometimes those problems might be actually detrimental to your growth, like a toxic parent. You know what I mean? But I feel like finding out a way to how you can flip. And again, I hate myself when I sometimes record podcasts, is because I say these things like I practice them, but when I am in the thick of a situation where I need to realize these things myself, I don't understand jack shit. But I feel like it is the most obvious thing is life is constantly fucking going to throw curveballs at you at different speeds, different intensities, and sometimes it will aim for the head, sometimes it will aim for your fucking balls. You know what I mean? It's constant. But how you can just flip it and reverse it. I just found a Missy Elliott lyric to flip it and reverse it, and make the best out of it, or somehow come out as the bigger person, the better person, the more stronger person. I feel like when you are, it's like sometimes it's like, if I had to give a visual analogy, it's like spiders making webs. You know what I mean? It's like constantly fucking shooting silk out of your ass, and like, just constantly working towards a thing that will only be better for you, So, okay, that wasn't a good analogy. I'm sorry. But you know what I was picturing actually? When Frodo goes into the little cave and the spider stings him and then wraps him up. Wraps him up in all that silk. I don't know why I felt like that was a great analogy with problems. But in retrospect, not so much. But that's what I'm trying to get at actually. That there is a learning in everything.
Let's lighten the mood up a little. Have you given
get a little
films?
Intense.
But since you're talking about Frodo and films, have you given any films a second chance and found that a film that you used to
innumerable movies which I was like, what the fuck is this? I can't give you a film example, but I can give you an example right now in my life. A TV show, Schitt's Creek is one of them. I did not hate it. I attempted Schitt's Creek thrice before I
Oh
wobbled
my
off
god,
into it.
it's like the best.
I know. 3 times I was like, yeah, this is not a funny show. This is not
Yeah.
my kind of humor. This is not.
Yeah.
But
Oh my god.
once I landed, I get, and I know now that I talk to other Schitt's Creek fans, everybody talks about this little heart that show has. Once you see that heart of the show, it is such a great show. Like and so much so that I just finished the finale last night. I watched the final episode, the final season last night, and I saw a couple of episodes, and I was in fucking tears constantly. I was constantly
Oh my
like
God.
welling
That
up,
is beautiful.
and I was like, oh my god, like Oprah has been substituted by Schitt's Creek.
Yeah.
I was so adorable, and that does happen. There are books, there are movies, there is everything which I was like, ye kya bhenchod fuck wala hai. Even, can I tell you, okay, I'll tell you a Hindi song I fucking hated, but lately I can't stop humming it all the time. Ghungru, this stupid, ke ghungru toote gaye. I used to hate that song because I'm huge on TikTok, I love TikTok. But I started hearing it all the time, and suddenly next thing I love this fucking song. It's so fucking melodic and sweet. So there's tons of
but that's not giving something a second chance. That's like an earworm. That like
but I'm saying I went from hating something to loving it. That means it's got chance diya. Like it's not like this is just another tacky fucking Bollywood song.
If there is an earworm, I know that there is something that person did right. So even if Preetham might be like super derivative and but he did something right. Like when it came to like his tunes.
No, there's tons. That Lord of the Rings itself. What am I even saying? I remember the first time I saw Lord of the Rings, I was so fried because I saw it with this.
Are you serious?
I think we discussed this. Did we discuss this? I was stuck in a room and with my best friend, and he had just started dating this girl who I wasn't very fond of back then because I was kind of into my best friend. But throughout Lord of the Rings, I had bought it on VCD back then. We'd not go to the theater to see it, and they fucking kept making out, and they wanted me to keep pausing the movie so that they could quickly go and make out and shit. We were all teenagers back then. And
maybe it was the movie that was.
Khunnas movie, but that's the thing. I removed it on the movie. Like, ye kya chute chale? Harry Potter is better. I was that person. And then, can I tell you something? I actually saw Lord of the Rings after Return of the King came out. Like, way after Return of the King came out. Years later, I somehow just still had the VCDs with me. I had seen everything in my collections. I was like, chal, I'll just fucking might as well. This is the only thing I've not seen. And boom, I saw Lord of the Rings 1. I was like, okay, that was great. Then I saw Lord of the Rings 2 because I had it. And I was like, holy shit, I was sitting on this and I had no idea this was so good. So that was definitely a second chance, Lord of the Rings.
I give it, I worship at the altar of Lord of the Rings, like any given day.
Dude, can I tell you something? So a lot of places, like my grinder name is Frodo. And a lot of my friends call me Frodo just because Farhad became Fred, became Frodo. And dude, so many people don't know where that comes from. So they're like, what a funny name. They'll say things like that to me sometimes. Frodo, what a funny name. And I'm like, I just play along sometimes. Yeah, my brother is called Samwise. Samwise gave Frodo so many fucking chances. He was such a dick to Samwise throughout. The real hero of fucking Lord of the Rings is actually Samwise Gamgee. Utha ke leke gaya. I had to carry my cat litter today 3 floors to my house. I was dying, but Samwise Gamgee fucking picked up Frodo up a mountain while he...
I would have thrown Frodo in.
उसमें भी इतना crying and all of that.
You go into the fucking lava.
And it is personal. He was hungry. That's my personality. Because Gollum played that whole bread trick on him, where he stole the bread and he threw the crumbs. So I know Samwise was hungry. And then he carried fucking Frodo up a fucking a volcano, not even a benchot mountain, a volcano, which is horrible. So, have you ever read that theory about why Lord of the Rings is actually a secret gay love story?
Yeah.
Oh, it was in Trans America, if you remember. Trans America mein Kevin Zegers, they do this whole analogy about how actually the eye of Sauron is a vagina. And
yeah.
oh my god, I found it like really deep back then. And then if you see it, you're like, thoda to homo vibes hai sabke beech mein, you know?
Yeah, true. It is quite homoerotic that way.
Yeah. Do you have like second chance movies? Or dude, there are so many, so I don't know what to say.
I will tell you. So when it had released, I think the reason I kind of thought it was, so there were a lot of, this is 2003, and there were a couple of these rom-coms, very female-led rom-coms that had come out. Something's Gotta Give and Under the Tuscan Sun. So I watched Under the Tuscan Sun, and I was like, ye kya hai? And I found it very like, I watched it in bits and parts, and then I'll speak about this, and then I will talk about another movie. I watched it, I think, a couple of years later, and I just fell in love with Under the Tuscan Sun because today it stands as one of my favorite romantic comedies, like better than those classics like Notting Hill and all of those and Pretty Woman. Like I like those, but for me this sits right at like the top. Another film which I used to dismiss as two films I used to dismiss as this is like dumb fun, but over the years I've given it a second chance, and I found out how fucking intelligent both of these films are. One is Legally Blonde and the other one is Mean Girls.
Amazing.
I find both of these films so sharp, so smart.
They're timeless. Literally, Mean Girls is a timeless film.
Oh my god!
I wasn't the second chance. I loved it the first time I saw it, but I saw Mean Girls almost 5 to 6 years after it came out. Like, I did not see it when it had just come out. But then I always knew, like, gay boys love this movie. I kind of knew. And then someday I just got around to watching it. And I just felt like, this is the best fucking movie. Like, really. Especially that scene where they have to trust each other and just fall back.
Oh my god,
Every time I literally wheeze when I see that scene. It is so fucking funny.
Don't try to make fetch happen. Oh my god.
Second chance. God, if this conversation was brought to us, like sometimes, because I'm sure I kind of get a sense of when people recommend a topic to us, they are coming from a very specific place, you know what I mean? And we try to make it vague, right? Or a more broader topic.
Broader,
Like, so I know when this person said second chance, they actually meant giving men a second chance. Like, lovers, and like, oh, should I give my married lover a second chance? Or you know what I mean? That kind of shit. And it's not something we've not already said 1,000 times before. Put yourself first. See if it's worth it. If it's causing you a lot of turmoil and toxicity and all,
is there respect for you?
Your entire life should be one long root canal. It feels like one long root canal, but everything should just be an effort to fucking numb anything that causes you pain by learning how to step the fuck away from it, you know? Sire the fuck Nara out of any situation, basically.
You need to figure whether there's respect in a relationship. And that's for me, any relationship is built on that. Respect, mutual respect, and if that's not there, then there's no point. So I think that's the bottom line of giving people second chances.
I guess that's our episode for today, dude. You know what's the funny thing? Sometimes it's like we don't usually, when we record in the studio, we just like look at each other and we talk and we like riff along each other's this. But lately, because we've been recording on Zoom, I usually have a screen open and my laptop is open on the side. And I can't wait for us to get back in the studio and do this, because while I'm talking to you, Sunetro, I'm looking at an image where Osama bin Laden is sitting and Ariana Grande is sitting in his lap, kissing him on the cheek.
What? Okay then.
Like, what is this life right now? Who thought?
At the time.
No, who at the time? But these are like two neurons in your brain that will never meet. You know what I mean? Like Osama bin Laden and Ariana Grande. And there's no joke, there's no pun in it. It's just an image of I'm sure if now by then, I'm sure if someone types, if someone's listening to this episode, if you Google Osama bin Laden, Ariana Grande, you'll get that image. But why would somebody even do that? But someone's done that. And I'm looking at it while we record our podcast message. Also, while we recorded a podcast message, I'm chatting with the boy on Tinder. He is saying, I never jerk off. I hate jerking off. I just keep it. But when I have sex, I burst at one time. That's what he said. What is happening? Like,
I mean, there are people who are not comfortable with it. I understand that.
No. Listen to me. I'm saying this that from a point that, wow, while recording a podcast, this is
what is happening.
And the funny thing is, the whole flight attendant boy I'm talking about, we just had a conversation before we started recording, and he kept messaging me throughout, so I was a little distracted in that sense. But yeah, I just can't wait to get back in the studio and do this. Plus this Zoom boom shit, I hope people fucking appreciate. They do. We do get messages that they love that we are doing this and stuff. Yeah, they better appreciate it, because I don't know about you, I'm losing my patience with recording on over the phone. With this whole hello, can you hear me?
For our own therapy and for the people, so it's all right.
That's true.
We'll do a couple more.
Whenever we wrap up, I always feel light. I feel a little okay. Yeah. Unload, release. I burst at one time. So yeah, that's right. I guess our episode for today.
Yep, we'll catch you next week.
What will this episode be called? 2 for second chances? How? S for second chances.
What's S for second chances?
I imagine 2ND. Okay. Okay. That's our episode for this week. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, that's it from us, and bye.
Are you constantly seeking happiness? Wondering how to make the most of every day? How not to let your inhibitions stop you from achieving your goals? It's now time to get your A game on. It's time to unlock your true potential. Tune in to the Empowering series with me, Zarina Poonawalla, to feel empowered in all genres of life. From behavioral skills to management skills. From health to relationships. From mental well-being to emotional well-being. And of course, your finances. I've got you covered. With these tips and tricks from me, Zarina, and true life stories from my amazing guests, you're bound to bring your purest to the table. Tune in to the Empowering series with Zarina Poonawalla every Thursday on the IVM Podcast app, website, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hi, my name is Anupam Gupta. I'm B50 on Twitter. I am the host of Paisa Vaisa, the show that talks money. On my show, I speak to experts from every field of money and finance. From stock markets, equities, debt funds, credit cards, life insurance, every possible area of money and finance that you can think of. We even did an episode on cryptocurrency. I've got fantastic guests from mutual funds to personal finance experts everywhere. Robo-advisory, startups, just name it, we've got it. At Paisa Vaisa, we help you make smart decisions about money. You work hard for money. Now make your money work hard for you. New episodes out every Monday, and you can listen to my show on the IVM Podcast app or any other podcasting app that you have.